Good morning, this is Lisa Lanasso with diaVerge Diabetes, and I'm here to bring you day 13 already of our 15-day spring training challenge. It has been so much fun to come to you every day. I have learned a ton about videos and how to get this all going, so I appreciate that you have allowed me this learning experience right along with you. Now, today I am building off of what we talked about yesterday. Yesterday was all about physical activity and starting small, like what we talked about in our first week. But as from some of the comments, I really realized that a lot of you do quite a bit more than what I had anticipated. I know there are a lot of people here that are starting with low carb and really starting from a much more sedentary lifestyle, and that is great. I'm so happy that all of you are here. But for those of you who have been working out on a regular basis and have a higher initial fitness level, as we're talking right now, you need some different information. So here I am talking about strenuous activity for day 13. Now, Dr. Bernstein, in his amazing Diabetes Solution book, which is my guidebook for pretty much everything I'm doing on this site, this is where we start and see if it works for us. And if it doesn't, we change it a little bit. But generally, these things are right on as far as my experience goes. So in Dr. Bernstein's book, there is a chapter called Using Exercise to Enhance Insulin Sensitivity and Slow Aging. Now this is chapter, I should have gotten the number, I believe it's chapter chapter 14, Using Exercise to Enhance Insulin Sensitivity right here. So this chapter is amazing, talking about insulin sensitivity and how we can exercise and what Dr. Bernstein recommends. Obviously he's been doing something right. He's been living with type 1 diabetes and living a very healthy lifestyle since he changed his whole outlook and changed his whole diabetes treatment plan as of the 70s. So here we go. First of all, he recommends anaerobic exercise. That is resistance training, weight training, HIIT workouts, those types of things. It can be body weight training. It doesn't have to be going to the gym and using free weights or machines. You can use exercise bands at home, which I mentioned yesterday. But there are a few things to consider with this. One, that if you are doing this type of exercise, you need to be doing it quickly. And there was one point that he says here that it creates, if you do it nearly continuously, it has a much better outcome than if you, say, were to lift weights for 5 minutes and then take a 4 or 5 minute break and then lift weights again. And this brings up a quote from one of my favorite people that I follow. She is a fitness guru out of Minneapolis. Her name is Jen Sinkler. She says, whenever she gets the question, well, what do you do for cardio? She says, I lift weights faster. And that always got me because I don't like cardio very much and I like lifting weights faster. So Dr. Bernstein says, anaerobic exercise also can increase the benefits of exercise by stimulating heart rate and thereby exercising the heart. To maintain an elevated heart rate, you switch immediately from one anaerobic exercise to another without resting in between, which is exactly what I just talked about. Lift weights faster. It actually creates a much better outcome in your body. Now, what lifting weights does is it increases the muscle mass and therefore it helps all of the insulin that you're using work more efficiently. It reduces insulin resistance and can help you in the long run use less insulin. So that's a bonus for all of us. Now, the reason, well, I should back up a bit. Okay, here we go. So the way that we need to dose for this strenuous exercise is different than dosing for a walk or doing, 10 minutes walking at a high rate on a treadmill. Now, generally, an aerobic exercise is going to send your blood sugar down. And an anaerobic exercise, such as weightlifting, resistance training, is going to send your glucose levels up, at least for the short term. So the reason that this happens is because A strenuous exercise causes the release of stress or counterregulatory hormones such as epinephrine, cortisol, etc. These signal the liver and muscles to return glucose to the bloodstream by converting stored glycogen into glucose. Sorry, my brain is just not working today. So there you go. So the stored glycogen is turned into glucose, goes into the bloodstream, and that's why we have that initial higher blood sugar in the case of strenuous exercise. Now, if you continue with your strenuous exercise for a more prolonged period of time, it's going to head back down again. Now, that would be more in the case of somebody who has some glucose production, some insulin production still. Most of us need to take a little bit of insulin to get that conversion of glycogen into glucose out of our bloodstream. So what would happen with me, I've been toying around with this, at least for my experience and what my body needs. This will probably be different for you, but I wanted to give this as an example, that I need a bolus of about a unit of Humalog insulin as soon as I'm walking into the gym. If I'm starting to lift my weights right away and I'm doing it hard and I'm lifting weights faster, and I'm really getting that anaerobic exercise in. Now, if I plan on doing more cardio exercise, say I'm going on the treadmill or the Stairmaster or the bike or something like that, unless I'm pushing really hard and really fast, I don't need that extra insulin. And in fact, I don't want to have that on board when I'm walking in, because it's going to send me to hypoglycemia within the first few minutes. And I can see that plummeting line on my CGM. So it is very different. I know some people cycle back and forth between heavy weights with 5 to 10 minutes of cardio in between each session, and that works for them, and that's amazing. Some people really don't want to take that extra unit or so of insulin, and so they use their anaerobic and aerobic exercise combination to work in their favor. So I really encourage everybody here, if you are interested in doing more strenuous exercise, make sure you read Dr. Bernstein's Diabetes Solution book, chapter 14, and learn all of the how and the why strenuous activity is recommended for us with type 1 and type 2 diabetes. And also read about the restrictions. Dr. Bernstein does recommend here that everybody, before you participate in strenuous physical activity, make sure you're checked out by a doctor and approved for those types of activities. If you do have high blood pressure or heart problems or anything like that, strenuous activity is not recommended. Even for people with retinopathy, this can be very detrimental. So make sure you are cleared for strenuous physical activity, and make sure your doctor knows exactly what you're planning to do, because some strenuous activity might be easier or better for you than others. So that is my word of warning, my caution, my little caveat here at the end that I have to say. Now, if you do participate in physical activity, I know a few of you on the comments yesterday said you are at the gym every morning. Please tell us what you do. Do you lift weights? How do you bolus for it? Everybody is going to be different here, but I really would like to learn from your experiences and really share here how we're all having successes. Or if you're not having a success, let us know here too. Say, I'm trying to do this, but it's not quite working and I don't quite know what to do. Let us know, and maybe we can give you some healthy input here. Just remember, we're all in this together, and we really appreciate all of your input. So thank you again, and let us know on the Facebook page what you're doing for, or if you are engaging in more strenuous physical activity, what you do and how it's working for you. So thanks again. I can't wait to come to you tomorrow again, and we only have 2 more days. Our winner for our most consistent commenter is going to be announced on Friday's video, so we also can't wait for that. Thank you all so much for sticking with us, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.